You're stitching a sweater with a tangled thread, trying to remember every word that you said. The story was silver, the promise was gold, but the pages are blurring and the ink's getting old. You told me on Tuesday the sky was a deep shade of red, but Friday you swear it was purple instead. It's a heavy weight keeping the timeline straight, while the truth is just sitting and lying in wait. It's a quiet vibration, a glitch in the groove. Every time you hesitate, every time you move, the script is too long and the stage is too wide. There's nowhere left for the hollow things to hide. No man has a memory, baby, good enough to keep up the act when the weather gets rough. To be a successful liar, you need a mind of steel, but the soul always trips on the things that are real. Yeah, the math don't add up in this Jazz-Funk light. The truth's gonna find you in the middle of the night. A lie is a loan with a high interest rate. It feels like a gift till it turns into weight. You gotta recall every shadow you cast, building a future on a fabricated past. But the human brain is a fragile thing. It can't keep track of every bell that you ring. The cracks in the ceiling are starting to show, and the water is rising down in the low. You know, truth is easy. It doesn't require a rehearsal. It just stays where you left it. But a lie is a living thing. It's a monster you gotta feed every single day. You gotta remember the who, the where, and the why. And eventually, the mind gets tired, the memory fails, and the whole beautiful house of cards just blows away in the wind. It's just too much work, baby. Has a memory, baby, good enough to keep up the act when the weather gets rough. To be a successful liar, you need a mind of steel, but the soul always trips on the things that are real. Can't remember it all, yeah. In this lo-fi space, we find the clear, watching the fabrications just disappear. Keep it honest, baby, let it roll. No man has a memory good enough for the long run. The city's running circles in a neon maze, looking for the shortcuts through the purple haze. Everybody's gotta hustle, everybody's got a price, trading in their conscience for a roll of the dice. They tell you, get yours while the getting is good. Better to be clever than to be understood. But I'm standing on the corner of the truth and the lie, watching all the frantic world just pass me by. It's a quiet vibration, a pulse in the soul, keeping my integrity and taking control. It's the narrow little path in the middle of the noise, the steady kind of wisdom and the heavy kind of poise. Just do the right thing, baby. Don't you worry about the test. It'll gratify a few, and it'll astonish the rest. Yeah, they won't believe their eyes, they won't believe the sound of a solid heart beating on this shaky ground. Gratify the seekers, astonish all the ghosts in this lo-fi rhythm where the truth matters most. They're looking for the angle, they're looking for the trick, watching for the moment that the shine don't stick. When you show a little kindness, when you keep your word, it's like a song from a planet they haven't even heard. The cynical are shaken, the skeptical are dazed by the simple kind of glory that you finally raised. You don't need the thunder, you don't need the glare, just the quiet satisfaction of being actually there. You know, integrity is a funny thing in a world of mirrors. People expect the hustle. They expect the lie, the me first, the grand deception. So when you just do the right thing, it's a shock to the system. The good people, they'll smile, they'll breathe a sigh of relief. But the rest of them, man, you'll see them staring like they've seen a ghost. It's the ultimate move, the ultimate groove. Just do right. Gratify a few, and it'll astonish the rest. Yeah, they won't believe their eyes, they won't believe the sound of a silent heart beating on this shaky ground. In this lo-fi space we find the clean, beyond the static and the world in between. Keep the spirit steady, baby, let it roll. Do the right thing, gratify the soul, astonish the world. A.m. on the corner, the steam begins to rise. 1,000 different stories in 1,000 different eyes. The baker and the dreamer, the worker and the sage, each one a single letter on a monumental page. It ain't about the marble, it ain't about the gold, it's the warmth stories to be told. The foundation isn't stone, baby. It's the heartbeat in the street, where the high-rise and the alleyway finally get to meet. It's a quiet vibration, a collective kind of soul, a million broken pieces making up a perfect whole. The power's in the many, not the chosen or the few. It's the rhythm of the city, and it starts with me and you. Other people, by the people, for the people, baby. And there's a lo-fi rhythm in this jazz degree. It's the common pulse, the light that we all share, a vibration in the water, a whisper in the air. Yeah, the heart of the nation, the spirit of the ground, where the voice of every person is the only solid sound. No one stands above and no one stays below. That's the secret of the garden, that's how we're meant to grow. A circle with no ending, a song with no refrain, the sunshine for the harvest and the mercy in the rain. It's the bar that builds the bridge, it's the floor that keeps us warm, it's the up that gives us shelter in the middle of the storm. Don't look up at the mountain, look at the neighbor by your side. That's where the true dimension and the magic things reside. You know, we get lost in the labels, the titles, the noise. But the dream was simple. It was about us, all of us. Not a gift from above, but a promise from within. It's a government of the breath we share, by the hands that do the work, for the hearts that need to beat. It's the ultimate groove, the balance of the soul. Keep it real. Sitting on the dock in the afternoon sun, watching all the ships and the ways they run. I've got a suitcase full of maybe later, and a heart acting like a cautious spectator. The harbor is safe and the water is still, but the silence is starting to feel like a chill. I'm guarding my comfort, I'm guarding my pride, while the greatest of adventures are waiting outside. It's a quiet vibration, a ticking in the chest, the heavy weight of the soul at rest. The what ifs are shadows that grow in the dark, waiting for someone to strike up a spark. 20 years from now, baby, don't you see, in this lo-fi rhythm, in this jazz degree, you'll be more disappointed by the things you didn't do than by the ones you did when the world was new. Yeah, the silence of the no is a bitter kind of ghost compared to the failures that hurt us the most. Dun, 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 dun. Dun, 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 dun. Throw off the bowlines, let the wind catch the sail. Don't be afraid of the wind or the hail. A scratch on the record is a story to tell. Better to have stumbled than to never have failed. Explore the blue and discover the gold before the fire in the engine gets suddenly cold. Catch the trade winds in a soulful flight. Don't let the someday slip out of sight. You know, we spend so much time worrying about the mistakes, about the times we might look a little foolish. But the real tragedy isn't the crash, it's the ship that never left the dock. 20 years, it's just a blink of an eye. When you're looking back from the porch, you won't regret the scars, you'll regret the skin that never felt the sun. Sail away from the safe harbor, explore, dream, discover. Do it now. You see, in this lo-fi rhythm, in this jazz degree, you'll be more disappointed by the things you didn't do than by the ones you did when the world was new. 20 years, yeah. Don't wait for the tide, just sail away, baby. In this lo-fi space we find the nerve to embrace the horizon and the beautiful curve. Throw off the lines, baby, let it roll. Don't be disappointed, just do it. Sail away, sail away. The city's just a blur, staring at the shadows where the secrets stir. I'm leaning on the rail of a lonely bridge, looking past the neon, past the rocky ridge. There's a hole in the night, a hollow in the soul, a velvet black gravity taking its toll. I'm searching for the bottom, searching for the end, but the silence is a message I can't quite comprehend. It's a quiet vibration, a pull in the chest. The more I try to find it, the less I find rest. The distance is shrinking, the light's getting thin, and I can't tell where the world ends and I begin. If you gaze long enough into the abyss, baby, in this lo-fi rhythm, in this void's got eyes, the darkness has a soul, and once it sees you coming, it's gonna take control. It's a mirror in the cellar, a window in the floor, watching everything you've hidden behind the door. You think you're just a witness, a ghost in the hall, but the darkness is a canvas, and you're the writing on the wall. The ink starts to move, the pattern starts to shift. You're caught in the current, caught in the drift. It knows your every secret, it knows your every fear, and the echo of your heartbeat is the only thing you hear. You know, we think we can just watch the dark, study it, keep it at a distance. But the void isn't a museum, it's an ocean. And when you stare into that deep, heavy nothing, it doesn't just sit there, it recognizes you. It finds the empty spaces in your own heart, and it fills them. You're not looking at the abyss anymore. You're looking at a mirror. Watch yourself. If you gaze long enough into the abyss, baby, in this lo-fi rhythm and this dark mystery, the abyss is gonna gaze right back into you, turning all your shadows into something new. In this lo-fi space we find the deep secrets that the velvet shadows keep. Let the dark see you, baby, let it roll. The abyss, it sees you now. Don't blink. We build a house on the shifting sand, drawing a map of a nameless land. We give a name to the wind and the rain, trying to find a logic for the midnight pain. It's a beautiful cage made of yes and no, with a steady direction for the soul to go. We call it reality, we call it the light, but it's just a lantern in a worldwide night. It's a quiet vibration, a glitch in the law, finding a rhythm in a fundamental flaw. We need the boundaries, we need the lines, to keep the spirit from the tangled vines. Truth is the kind of error, baby, don't you see? In this lo-fi world of pure contingency, the kind of mistake that we have to believe, just to find the strength to never leave. Yeah, a useful fiction, a survival song, the only way a species keeps moving along. If we saw the chaos chaos. If we saw the deep, we'd never find the peace to even go to sleep. So we trade the is for the ought to be in a syncopated jazz of philosophy. The species needs a story just to stay alive, a little bit of certain so we can thrive. It ain't a mountain, it's just how we feel, but we need the error to make the journey real. You know, absolute reality, it's too much for a heart to hold. It's a storm with no center, a fire with no hearth. So we create truth. We curate these little errors, these convenient myths. We call them facts, we call them laws, we call them destiny. But without them, you just dissolve into the static. We wouldn't be us. It's the error that makes the life possible. It's the lie that lets us breathe. Stay in the groove. Just keep dancing. The incense is faded, the candles burn low, leaving us here with nowhere to go. The stained glass is broken, the shadows are long, and the choir has forgotten the words to the song. I looked up at the ceiling, I look for a sign, but the stars are just echoes of a different time. The heavens are empty, the throne is a ghost, and the silence is what I can hear the most. It's a quiet vibration, a shift in the air, searching for something that isn't quite there. The weight of the absolute fell to the floor, and we're left with the key, but we lost the door. God is dead, baby, don't you see? In this lo-fi rhythm, in this jazz tragedy. And we are the ones who held the blade in the beautiful mess that we finally made. Yeah, the ultimate light has flickered and gone, but the funk in the basement keeps carrying on. We traded the lightning for neon and gold, for stories layers of logic that never get old. Searching for meaning in a digital stream, waking up slowly from a celestial dream. No one to judge us, no one to blame, but no one to call out our secret name. We're the kings of the void in a velvet night, dancing alone in the flickering light. You know, he didn't just walk away. We outgrew the cradle. We traded the mystery for the certainty of the machine. And now the world is wide and terrifyingly cold. God is dead. And how shall we comfort ourselves, the murderers of all murders? Maybe we just find the rhythm. Maybe we create the meaning in the space between the notes. That's our new altar. The groove is all we have left. God is dead, baby, don't you see? In this lo-fi rhythm, in this jazz tragedy. And we are the ones who held the blade in the beautiful mess that we finally made. In this lo-fi space, we find our own way beyond the rules of yesterday. Just breathe. The wind is biting through this thin wool coat, a sea of shadows and I'm just a boat. The rent is overdue, the sky is lead and gray. Another uphill struggle in a long, long day. The how is heavy like stones in my shoes, enough to give a man a permanent blues. But I'm walking steady through the neon glare, with a secret rhythm that nobody can share. It's a quiet vibration, a flame in the dark. Beyond the struggle and the missing spark, there's a destination carved inside my mind, leaving all the how-tos and the whys behind. He who has a why to live, baby, don't you see, can bear almost any how in this life's mystery. When the reason's rooted deep within the soul, the jagged mountain path becomes a gentle road. Yeah, the purpose is the power, the why is the light that keeps the fire burning through the coldest night. It ain't about the burden, it's about the prize, the way you see the world through a dreamer's eyes. If you're working for a love or a name or a dream, the thorns are just a part of the master's scheme. Let the storm clouds gather, let the thunder roar. I've seen the heavy weather many times before, but as long as that wire's beating in my chest, I can walk through the fire and pass the test. You know, we spend so much time complaining about the how hard it is, how long it takes, how much it hurts. But the how is just the scenery. The real question is your why. Why do you get up? Why do you keep swinging? that why is big enough, man, the how don't stand a chance. It's just noise. Find your anchor, find your why. He who has a why to live, baby, don't you see, can bear almost anyhow in this life's mystery. When the reason's rooted deep within the soul, the jagged mountain path becomes a gentle road. Find your why, yeah, in this lo-fi space. We find the strength to go the distance in the extra length. Keep the purpose steady, baby, let it roll. The why is everything, anyhow. I'm ready now. The man in the suit is holding a chart, trying to map out the beat of a heart. He's got percentages and decimal points, greasing the wheels in the rusty joints. Trust the data, he says with a grin, hiding the places where the truth is thin. A little white lie for the sake of the mood, a beautiful fiction carefully brewed. It's a quiet vibration, a glitch in the math, leading us down a synthetic path. Between the maybe and the certainly so, there's a whole lot of magic they don't want you to know. There are three kinds of lies, baby, don't you see? In this lo-fi world of complexity, there are lies, damn lies, and statistics too, hiding the rhythm that belongs to you. Yeah, the numbers are dancing, the logic is blurred, the honest vibration is never quite heard. A damn lie hits you right in the face, a sudden departure from the state of grace. But statistics are a ghost in the room, a sophisticated shadow, a silent gloom. They'll tell you the average, they'll tell you the mean, but they never mention the spirit between. You can't quantify the soul or the rain or the beautiful weight of a midnight pain. You know, numbers don't lie, or so they say, but they're the best storytellers I've ever met. You can twist a percentage until it looks like a prayer. You can bury a tragedy in a standard deviation. First, they give you the plain old lie, then the big ones that burn. But the most dangerous, that's the one dressed up in a graph, the statistic. Because once you turn a person into a number, you don't have to look them in the eye anymore. Keep your eyes open, baby. There are three kinds of lies. We don't need the percentages anymore. Keep it honest, baby. Let it roll. Lies, damn lies. And the biggest of them all, statistics. Holding a chart, trying to map out the beat of a heart. He's got percentages and decimal points, greasing the wheels and the rusty joints. Trust the data, he says with a grin, hiding the places where the truth is thin. A little white lie for the sake of the mood, a beautiful fiction carefully brewed. It's a quiet vibration, a glitch in the math, leading us down a synthetic path. Between the maybe and the certainly so, there's a whole lot of magic they don't want you to know. There are 3 kinds of lies, baby, don't you see? In this lo-fi world of complexity, there are lies, damn lies, and statistics too, hiding the rhythm that belongs to you. Yeah, the numbers are dancing, the logic is blurred, the honest vibration is never quite heard. A damned lie hits you right in the face, a sudden departure from the state of grace. But statistics are a ghost in the room, a sophisticated shadow, a silent gloom. They'll tell you the average, they'll tell you the mean, but they never mention the spirit between. You can't quantify the soul of the rain, or the beautiful weight of a midnight pain. It's quiet vibration, carefully brewed. It's a quiet vibration, a glitch in the math, leading us down a synthetic path. Between the maybe and the certainly so, there's a whole lot of magic they don't want you to know. There are 3 kinds of lies, baby, don't you see? In this lo-fi world of complexity, there are lies, damn lies, and statistics too, hiding the rhythm that belongs to you. Yeah, the numbers are dancing, the logic is blurred, the honest vibration is never quite heard. A damn lie hits you right in the face, a sudden departure from the state of grace. But statistics are a ghost in the room, a sophisticated shadow, a silent gloom. They'll tell you the average, they'll tell you the mean, but they never mention the spirit between. You can't quantify the soul of the rain, or the beautiful weight of a midnight pain. You know, numbers don't lie, or so they say, but they're the best unstable. You know, numbers don't lie deep, baby. There are 3 kinds of lies, baby, don't you see? In this lo-fi world of complexity. The shadows tried to pull me to the floor, left me shivering outside the kitchen door. The thunder rolled and the lightning left a scar. I forgot for a moment just who we are. They say the winter is a cold and lonely blade, cutting through the promises that we once made. But the ice is melting and the morning's looking lean. I'm still standing in the space in between. It's a quiet vibration, the heat in the chest, the heavy survival, the ultimate test. The fire didn't burn me, it just cleared the way for a brand new rhythm at the break of day. That which does not kill us, baby, don't you know? Just adds a little fire to the inner glow. It makes us stronger, makes the spirit deep, with a soulful secret that we get to keep. Yeah, the pressure makes the diamond, the struggle makes the song. In this lo-fi groove, we're right where we belong. Every fall is a chord, a beautiful chaos that I can afford. I walked through the valley and I climbed the wall, and I found my balance in the middle of the fall. You can't break a spirit that's been forged in the night, that's found its own version of the morning light. I'm thicker in the skin and I'm wiser in the soul, taking all the static and making it whole. You know, pain is a funny kind of teacher. It tries to tell you that you're finished, that you're broken beyond repair. But look at you. You're still breathing. You're still moving to the beat. If the storm didn't take you down, then it only gave you armor. It gave you a deeper baseline, a sharper edge. You aren't just a survivor, you're a masterpiece in progress. Stay strong. That which does not kill us, baby, don't you know? Just adds a little fire to the stronger, makes the spirit deep, with a soulful secret that we get to keep. In this lo-fi space, we find the core. We aren't afraid of the shadows anymore. Let the spirit toughen, baby, let it roll. Doesn't kill us, makes the music stronger. Read the stories on the dusty shelf, trying to find a version of myself. The ink follows a path, a logical line, with a beginning, a middle, and a perfect design. The hero wins or the hero falls, within the safety of the paper walls. Everything makes sense in the world of prose, following the rules that everybody knows. It's a quiet vibration, the glitch in the scene, between the pages and the space in between. But then I step out into the neon glare and find a rhythm that shouldn't be there. Truth is stranger than fiction, baby, in this lo-fi world of mystery. Fiction's obliged to stick to what might be, but truth don't care about the possibility. Yeah, the wilder the heart, the wilder the way. Truth's got a game that the stories can't play. bird flies backwards in a velvet sky. A perfect stranger tells a beautiful lie. The math don't add up on the city clock. A secret key turns in a broken lock. Fiction has to stay within the lines of how, but the real world is breaking every single vow. The coincidences and the jagged edge of life hanging off of a logicless ledge. You know, a writer has to make you believe. They have to stay inside the borders of could happen. If it's too wild, you'll just close the book. But the world doesn't need your belief. It doesn't owe you an explanation or a logical end. It just is, unfiltered, unchained, stranger than anything you could ever write down. That's the real groove. Baby, in this lo-fi world of mystery, fiction's obliged to stick to what might be, but truth don't care about the possibility. In this lo-fi space, we find the why, looking at the world with a wide The neighbors say you're talking to the moon again, building paper towers in a world of ink and pen. They got the tidy gardens and the fences painted white, sleeping through the magic in the middle of the night. But you're staring at the static on the television screen, seeing all the colors that have never yet been seen. They call it a delusion, they call it a mistake, but you're just wide awake while the world is on a break. It's a quiet vibration, a fire in the bone, standing in the crowd yet feeling all alone. The status quo is heavy, a leaden kind of coat, but you're busy writing down a different kind of note. The people who are crazy enough, baby, don't you see, to think they'll change the world and rewrite history. They're the ones who do it, the ones who break the seal, turning all the impossible into something real. Yeah, the dreamers and the misfits, the wild and the few, in this lo-fi rhythm, the world starts with you. The sensible are busy just maintaining the machine, keeping all the gears clean, if you know what I mean. But the jazz is in the friction, the funk is in the flaw, the beauty of the vision that breaks the common law. You don't need a permit to imagine something great. You don't need a blessing from the masters of the state. Just a little bit of madness and a steady funky soul to take the broken pieces and make a brand new whole. You know, crazy is just a word for people who can't see the light you're seeing. They call it madness because it's unfamiliar. They call it reckless because they're afraid to move. But look at the history books. Every line was written by someone who refused to stay in the lines. If you think you can change it, you're already halfway there. Don't turn down the volume. Stay crazy. Turning all the impossible into something real. Stay crazy, yeah. Change the whole world in this lo-fi space. We find the spark that lights 1,000 fires in the velvet dark. Keep that vision, baby, let it roll. They're the ones who do crazy enough to change it all. He's got a silver tongue and a suit of gold, selling a story that's never been told. The neons flash and the crowd's in a trance, watching the shadows start to dance. You can pull the wool, you can dim the light, make the wrong thing look like it's almost right. In the smoky corners of a late night bar, everybody thinks they're looking at a star. It's a quiet vibration, a glitch in the dream, a little bit of static in the heavy stream. The mask is pretty, the paint is thick, but even the cleverest have a final trick. You can fool all the people some of the time, yeah. And there's a lo-fi rhythm, and there's jazz funk crime. And some of the people, all the time it's true, but you cannot fool everyone. Whatever you do, yeah, the clock is ticking. Truth's gonna climb. You can't fool all the people all the time. The cracks are showing in the porcelain smile. The distance is growing with every mile. The logic is tangled, the threads are thin. You can't keep the light from coming in. One by one they're opening their eyes underneath the purple of the city skies. The applause is fading, the room's getting cold. The greatest deception is getting old. You know, deception is a full-time job. You gotta remember every word, every look, every shadow you cast. But truth just sits there. It doesn't have to do a thing. You might get the whole room for a minute. You might get a few folks for a lifetime. But the math don't work forever. Eventually, sun comes up and the music stops. What you gonna do then? Lo-fi rhythm in this jazz funk crime, and some of the people all the time it's true, but you cannot fool everyone whatever you do. The truth is coming, yeah, can't hide it forever, stay in the light. In this lo-fi space, we find the real, trading the act for the way that we feel. Keep it honest, baby, let it roll. All of the people, all of the time, it just won't fly. The sun is rising over the heavy pine. Everybody's rushing, trying to cross the line. They got their sleeves rolled up and the spirits high, hacking at the bark under a morning sky. But brute force is a heavy, hollow sound when you're just moving air and hitting the ground. The clock is ticking, yeah, the pressure is on, but I'm sitting in the shadows until the heat is gone. It's a quiet vibration, the steel on the stone, a rhythmic meditation working all alone. They call it waiting, they call it a waste, but the masterpiece is never born out of haste. Give me 6 hours to chop down the tree, and I'll show you the power of the mystery. I'll spend the first 4 sharpening the axe, finding the focus, cooling the facts. Yeah, it's the edge that does the work, don't you see? In this lo-fi groove, in this slow burn energy. Grindstone is turning a soulful refrain, turning the struggle into a steady gain. While they're sweating buckets with the blade that's dull, I'm feeding the silence in a peaceful lull. Life is a forest and the tasks are tall, but it's the mind behind the swing that makes them fall. A sharp mind, a sharp blade, a syncopated beat. That's how you handle the winter and the summer heat. You know, most people just want to see the sparks fly. They want the crash, the big finish. But the victory? The victory happens in the quiet hours, in the preparation, in the 4 hours when nobody is watching. If you don't have the edge, you're just making noise. Sharpen your soul, then take the swing.